Well, good afternoon, Husky fans, and welcome here to National Signing Day, the early signing period for HBU football. I'm Russ Reneau, joined now by Huskies head football coach Vic Shealy. And Vic, you now have a class right now of 16 signees that you signed this afternoon, and just talk in general about this group and how that went today.
Well, I tell you what, early sign day is kind of becoming a unique experience for us as coaches. You know, getting this group of guys ready to make a commitment earlier. But now, we're probably going to see about 80 to 90% of the Division I athletes will sign today, and it's becoming the new norm. We're really excited about the 16 guys we got that signed today. We signed 11 offensive players and 6 defensive players, and I think the balance of the recruiting is really solid. It kind of mirrors a little bit of our ability now that we're entering a more mature time in our program, to where the needs that we have and the specific needs, we're able to recruit a little bit more to that, as opposed to just trying to get the best player that's available. And so we feel like we really did a good job of evaluating. I'm really proud of our staff and the clarity that we could speak to as to why each one of these young men are important to us, and a need that they feel is very comfortable for us to be able to know that we've done the job that needed to be done, and we'll continue after this, for the February sign date, but that's a much smaller number. But we're excited today.
Yeah, and as you said, you really focused on offense, and that kind of goes back to last year and this year. A lot of offensive linemen in these groups, and just how important is that unit been these last 2 recruiting classes?
Well, really, the offensive linemen have become almost the jewel of, be it an NFL draft, NFL free agency, and certainly at the Division I level recruiting. It's hard to find the athletic guys that have that toughness, that have the size and sometimes the IQ that they must play with because of all the different defensive structures they see now. It's a pretty challenging group there to really identify, and you can find certain guys, but if you're looking to bring toughness into your offensive line, for example, then finding another pass protector may not necessarily be the answer to your recruiting. And so we really feel like that the offensive line we took, each one of them have a specific area that makes their qualities really stand out, and they'll bring some things to the room. And
you also have 5 wide receivers, and there's one very familiar name in that bunch.
You know what? We graduate 4 wide receivers, and just like we graduate 4 offensive linemen, and we need to get the bigger numbers recruited up front. Well, we today signed 5 wide receivers, and Josh Stearns, the younger brother of Jared Stearns, was one of our first commitments that came to us, and was a guy who was aggressively recruited by our league. But we had a little bit of a trump card. We had an older brother in our program, and Jared and Josh had both spoke, that in college they like to play with each other, and it's gonna be pretty fun. Come September the 5th, there, and we're playing North Texas and Denton. I have no doubt that you're going to see both Stearns on the field that night, during the game, and I think that'll be a real goal of theirs met, and we're excited because we know that Josh can play. But we're excited about 4 other guys, and here a little bit I'll get a chance to go through each of those. But I think when we just see players in our program that have a positive experience. Jareth, I think, enjoys HBU. Our coaching staff, we love the way he approaches the game. And then you see where he has led our conference in receiving. And, of course, this year, Jareth leading the nation in receiving. It's probably a little bit easier for us to get the attention of the little brother.
Right. And we know how important the relationships are in recruiting at Texas high schools. But it seems like the last few years, building those relationships with the junior colleges in California has become an important goal for your coaching staff. And you just talk about how important it has been to build those relationships.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we're seeing right now, the California Junior College, it's a really good academic environment to go to school out there. But there are fewer colleges on the West Coast that offer scholarships. But yet the density of California, the state, is very populated, and the quality of high school football is very good. And so those kids are looking to go someplace, and so a lot of them just can't get out and can't find 4-year opportunities. So junior college becomes the vehicle by which they get re-recruited. A lot of times with offensive linemen, if they're of size, then they may not necessarily move real well. If they move real well, they may not be of size. However, out in California, we find we find that there's both kids that are big that can move and play well, and so it's become an area. We also kind of believe that it gives us a chance to let the junior college develop some of our young linemen out there that that have come in our program in recent years. But we also like that high school lineman too. It's nice to have those guys around our program for 4 and 5 years also.
Right, and now I just want to give you an opportunity to highlight the players that you want to talk about in this class.
Yeah, well, I think the bell cow of any recruiting class is going to be that quarterback that you signed, because so much is going to be expected of him to carry the load, when his time comes. And but before he starts in the ball game, he's going to be expected to drive player-led practices. He's going to be expected to be what the standard is for work ethic in that weight room and how they represent the university off the field. And we think we just got a real gem of a player in Desmond Young. He's at a Bastrop High School here just in the Austin area. He's a really true balanced athlete. We think that he has great arm talent, but he's a tremendous athlete and reminds us a lot of Tony Dawson back a few years ago in our program. And so really a guy that the sky's the limit. I think his upside is huge, and he just comes to us right now, I think, hungry to get on a college field. And he really had such a strong impact there at Bastrop High School to make it a playoff team, and he's a winner. And so we're extremely excited there. Ladarius Turner is a running back out of Mesquite High School, and is a running back that is very, very similar to Darion Manyweather.
Matter of fact, high school.
And I tell you what, when we really see Ladarius on the film, we kind of think it's 3 years ago when we were recruiting Dre, and so I think that's a real compliment in our program. And then just we talked about the 5 wide receivers. Josh Stern being an inside slot, Tyson Thompson at Klein High School was in our camp and was a real just eye-catching receiver and highly competitive, really good ball skills, good route runner, and can really run, can separate from defenders. And so we would feel like we got a special guy in Tyson, and he'll play probably a slot, although we do think he can play as an outside receiver also. We're excited about Ishmael Fuller. He's an outside wide receiver, plays over at North Shore, and we'll look forward to getting him on campus in January, since they're still playing right now. But he's a big old, tall, long wide receiver that can really, really run. And we're excited about Jalen Coleman, a local product here at Second Baptist High School in the town. Is one of the best offensive talents that this particular city has produced at wide receiver. He's another one of those 6'2", 190-pound big wide receivers that you just got to really appreciate on the outside. And so I think when we kind of see those guys, it's exciting. And then one of the guys that we probably feel like is one of the most ready-made guys in this entire class is Darion Sheffield out of Allen High School. He's a guy that played slot receiver for Allen, but is also capable of being an outside guy. He's really versatile. He's really athletic and has a lot of refined route running skills already. And then up front, we've talked about the 4 guys, but Spencer Blake, a center out of Golden West, is really a tough, hard-nosed player, smart. He's one of those 6'3", 300-pound centers, and sometimes it's kind of hard to find, the centers that are already of size that can move their feet. And so we're really excited about Spencer. We was in on our campus this past weekend, and I think he fell in love with Houston just like we fell in love with him. And then at guard, we have a guy by the name of Eddie P., and out of Quebec City, Canada, that was by way of New Mexico military, and he played tackle there, and he can play tackle. He's really one of those kind of guard tackle types. He's a big physical guy, and I think that's going to be a really kind of, it's going to be fun just to see him play and see this spring really where he fits in for us. And then Gabe Martinez is a big tackle, 6'5" kid, 285 pounds out of Saddleback Community College. Plays for a good friend of mine out there, Mark McElroy, and Gabe, the sky's the limit. He is so athletic. He's a pure left tackle in so many ways, and I think when we kind of see what a true good pass protector looks like, and the confidence that it gives a quarterback to stay in that pocket, Gabe is going to be a guy that no doubt is going to make quite an impression right here. I think on the defensive side of the ball, we have a young man, and this may be the coolest name of any recruit that I've ever been around. Lord's Will, and I'm going to get this right because it's important to me, but Yuwa Inukwe, and a beautiful Nigerian family. And Lord's Will has a neat story. His name came by the wishes of his dad, who passed away when he was young, and it's just cool. Lord's Will, you can't beat that.
Right.
Matter of fact, I might have another son just with the name Lord's Will. But he's a big, strong guy, one of those 6'2", 6'3", 300-pound guys that can really move, and out of Huddle High School up in the Austin area. And then we brought in a pair of linebackers, one from Midway High School, Luke Horner, a really versatile edge rush guy, and he came in our camp, and he's a good-looking guy, one of those 6'3", 210, 15-pound, really, really athletic guys that reminds us a lot of what Andre Walker looked like coming out of high school. And then Peyton Kennedy out of White House High School over here in East Texas is one of the best running linebackers that we had. It really reminds us a lot of a couple of guys we've had in our program that play pretty well inside. But Langston Tunson, who led our conference in tackles last year, he and Langston are very similar athletically. And then really excited about the back end. We have two corners that have really caught our eye early on. Freddy Johnson there out of Sheldon School there, private school in Dallas, and he's really got great feet. We saw him in the SMU camp where we worked up there, and fell in love with him as soon as we saw him on the field. His feet and hips are just beautiful, and really excited about his ability to come out of our program. And then Darion Johnson is a really nice player out of Summer Creek, and I think when we look at guys that have that longer 6-foot body, that have feet and hips, it's hard to find those guys, and we found one here and locally in the city that we love. And then one of the most versatile athletes that we signed is Isaiah Cash. He's a guy who can play safety, corner, or nickel. And when you can play 5 positions on a college field, you're truly a unique guy. His dad was a great Bear carry at UT back in the days in which a certain coach, Shannon Kelly, and our staff was there at the same time. But we're excited to have Isaiah. So that's kind of a quick run through on our guys. But each one of them are here for a purpose, a real definite definition to what we're looking for, and they meet that definition.
And coming off this season, you had program best in wins, and you had a lot of players coming back from this team. I counted up, you had 8 on offense, 8 on defense most likely, and so plugging in those holes where seniors have vacated is going to be pretty key going into this year, which could be a very special year coming off this one.
Absolutely. We were able to I think, talk very strong and out of conviction that we feel like we have a playoff caliber football team coming back, and feel like maybe we were at a place where you could see some of that already taking place this past year, but the month of October and some of the injuries that really occurred kind of thinned us out, and
Right.
some of the challenges to overcome that part of this year is what this class immediately, I think, addresses. And so our numbers, we're getting good players. We got to have enough good players to football takes a lot of bodies to play. And so while this group, we expect for many of them to line up and compete for starting jobs, because I think guys are coming, these guys coming from Texas, they're ready-made players. That the high school coaches in this state, my goodness, I mean, it's the best technical and fundamental taught and really progressive scheme as there is in the country. And so we get those kids early, but many of them will be guys that will also sit there and be one of those number 2s that are competing with another guy who maybe has been in that role for a year, and these guys come in athletically ready to compete. And so it's going to be fun to see them this summer when this group arrives on campus. And with the 4 offensive linemen, they're all mid-year guys, so they'll be here, in the next few weeks back when we come back, and it'll be fun just to see how it takes our program to another level.
Right. Well, congratulations on the class today, Vic.
Thanks. It's going to be a great day.
I'm Russ Reneau, and this is head coach Vic Shealy, and we're wrapping up the early signing period here for HBU Football Signing Day. You can join us on Wednesday, February 5th next year for another National Signing Day wrap-up. We'll have a full press conference from the Glasscock lobby. You're welcome to come out and join us, or you can watch it here on the Husky Sports Network. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon, everybody.